Hi again, Mark here from Talking Bass. So today let's look at a cool little riff that you can use for developing your technique in crossing strings, and that also helps gaining a little familiarity with the major pentatonic scale. We'll run it at a few different speeds, but here it is at the full tempo of 76 beats per minute. So first of all, let's just run through the notes in there, and it's worth mentioning before we start that we actually have a shuffle 16th note feel here. So instead of counting 16th notes as 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, very straight, we're actually swinging them, so we have the shuffle feel of 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So we've got that swing feel for the 16ths. So we begin with an A, 5th fret of the E string. And the rhythm there is, we've got 2 16th notes, so we've got 1 E, and then we've got and in the 2, so it's the second 2 16th. So we've got 1 E and a 2 E and a. So 1 E and a 2 E and a. Then for the final beat in that first bar, we have a set of 16th note triplets that sounds like this. Okay, so we're coming up here, C sharp, E, F sharp, and then A. So 4th and 7th frets on the A string and the D string. So 4th fret, 7th fret, then 4th fret, 7th fret. So we work up and back down. Okay, but we only come down as far as the E at the 7th fret of the A string. So, and then we're back to the start there on the A for the second bar. So for the whole of that first bar, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a triplet, triplet. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a triplet, triplet. Then the second bar is rhythmically identical, and again we start on the A, 5th fret of the E string, so 1 E and a 2 E and a, but then instead of that ascending descending line, we start up at the top, C sharp, 6th fret of the G string, and we just work down through this pentatonic scale. So we have C sharp, then down to the B, so that's 6th and 4th frets on the G string, and then we come down through the remainder, so we've got A, F sharp, E, C sharp, so that's going to be 7th and 4th frets on the D string, 7th and 4th frets on the A string. So triplet, triplet, and then we're back to the A to start. So that whole second bar, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a triplet, triplet, and we're back in. So those first two bars, round and round very slowly, we have 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, so that's the riff. Now let's dig a little deeper into the scale and the technique. So first things first, this is based on a simple A major pentatonic scale. What's a major pentatonic scale? Well, it's the same as a major scale, but we miss out the 4th and the 7th. So in a normal A major scale, we'd have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. We just take out the 4th, A, B, C sharp, we miss that D, just go to the E, then we work up, 6th, F sharp, and we miss out that G sharp, up to the A. So A major pentatonic. So in terms of the actual fingering there, I mean, there's many different ways to play a major pentatonic scale, but we're starting on the A and then playing the B there. So this is going to be 5th and 7th frets on the E string. Then we move up onto the A string. We've got C sharp and E, 4th and 7th frets, and then F sharp and the A, 4th and 7th frets on the D string. So very simple pattern, and then you can extend it in that position. So we play the B and the C sharp up at the 4th and the 6th frets on the G string. So all the way up and all the way down. Pentatonic pentatonic scales are really popular in all styles of music, and they fall really nicely under the fingers on bass and guitar, 2 notes per string. So you can use them for fast little bass fills moving across the strings. And when you descend across the strings like this, or you get that nice cascading effect that I sometimes refer to as the waterfall lick. Those quick little flurries feature heavily in the playing of all the virtuoso gospel players, and you'll hear them in rock fills by players like Geddy Lee. Now, in terms of the technique, the fretting hand is all pretty straightforward, just 2 fingers. So if I just run up and down that whole scale in one position again on a 4-string bass, we've got the 2nd finger and 4th finger for the A and the B, then we've got the 1st finger and 4th finger there for that 4th and 7th frets, 1st and 4th fingers again, then 1st and 3rd fingers. So 2 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 3. Really straightforward. Now, in terms of finger picking, we're going to have to be a little more careful. When ascending with 2 note per string patterns, you're going to want to lead with the middle finger of the picking hand. So, as we work up, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Then when descending, you should be starting with the index finger of the picking hand. So from that top down, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or index, middle, index, middle. Now, you can obviously incorporate raking into these descending patterns, but we're mainly sticking to alternate picking here. And the reason that we want to be careful about the lead finger is because of the size difference between the index and middle fingers. The index finger is generally a lot shorter, so that's the better finger for descending. The longer middle finger is better for reaching over as we ascend. This is really obvious when you try switching fingers. So just try ascending through that A major pentatonic scale, starting with the middle picking finger. That's fine, okay? Then switch to the index finger as the lead finger. Now, that will probably seem a little more awkward. It's doable, obviously, but it'll just feel a little bit more odd because it's the shorter finger. Now try the same with the descent. So if you start at the top, start with the index finger. That'll feel fine. Now start with the 2nd finger. It'll just feel like it's a little bit harder work because that middle finger's a little longer, so you're having to kind of push it in a little bit as you come back, transitioning the strings. So now back to the riff. When we play those low A notes, you can use any finger picking pattern that you want. You could use one index finger, or maybe index middle. But then when we play the ascending fill, you want to start with that middle finger because we're ascending. So we've got middle, index, middle, index, middle, index. Then when you reach back to that E there at the 7th fret of the A string, you can rake back with the 1st finger onto the E string. So you're going to have to pay attention to the thumb position as you move. So when you start the climb there, move the thumb onto the E string. Then when we come back down, when you catch that E, 7th fret of the E string, we're on the 1st finger, you just rake back onto that E string with the A and you just bring the thumb back onto the pickup, so. Okay? Then for that 2nd bar fill, because it's all descending, you want to start with the index finger and alternate all the way through. So we come down. So index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, and that leads us onto the index finger for the A again. So, even though this riff is very busy for a basic funk groove, it does help with adding these pentatonic fills into your lines. So you really want to just think of the final beat in each bar as a fill. So we've got the basic groove, and then you're just treating this as a little fill that we're just placing in there. So we've constantly got this looping groove, fill, groove, fill. So to begin with, stay away from tracks or metronomes. Just play it in your own time and start out as slow as necessary. So you might want to start out slow like this. Or if, even that's too tricky, just take the fill in isolation. So you can just work on that single beat. And also include the rake at the end, coming back down onto the A. So paying special attention to that finger picking. And the same for the 2nd bar fill. Start out really slow. work on it in isolation. Once you have it under your fingers, you can try playing to the practice tracks over at the website. So just click the link in the description or the card, and you'll be able to build up speed with the drum beats at 56, 66, and 76 beats per minute. So let's start with the slowest track of 56 beats per minute, and let's add a little envelope filter in there to give us a touch more funk. Next, let's try medium tempo, 66 beats per minute. And finally, full speed, 76 beats per minute. Now, after learning this riff, you can also expand on things a little by moving around the neck. You could move up the neck chromatically. Or you could descend. Each area of the fretboard is going to provide its own challenges, so move around the neck and you'll also have a great little addition to your practice routine. Okay, so remember to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment to let me know what other areas of playing you'd like to work on. If you want some more help with pentatonic scales, then I've got a ton of them here on the channel, and here's a great one for starters. So I'll see you next week.